Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai Satcharitra, an Insight, Episode 133. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan Brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, we have been heeding to the responses of Sri Sai Maharaj to the questions that arose in Damu Anna's mind. That was not an assurance given only to Damu Anna and his family, but to all his devotees far and near. Damu Anna has shared the experiences that portrayed Sri Sai Baba's protection, loving care and blessing to the family not only before his mortal coil but even after his Mahasamadhi. Let me share another incident that portrays Sri Sai Maharaj's benedictions and shielding to this family after his Mahasamadhi. Once, Damu Anna's wife's nose ornament known as Nasabharanam was robbed. The nose stud is considered as one of the most auspicious jewels of the Maharashtrians. Almost every lady would be wearing it and they regard it as equivalent to their wedding chain or Mangal Sutra. This jewel was kept in a small box and it was stolen. Losing this jewel will be considered as the most inauspicious sign for the family. Damu Anna was dejected. It is not about losing a valuable jewel, but losing the most auspicious ornament of the family. Beyond all this, Damu Anna came to know who looted it. The gravest truth was, it was none other than their servant who worked in their house for nearly 30 years. And this person was considered as one of their own family members and was never treated as a servant. Thus, he was given the liberty to move inside their home freely and was even able to access the precious jewels that were kept in the home. Such a loyal servant had ditched Damu Anna, which was a great shock to him. This thought tormented him the most. It is a rule that whenever something is robbed, immediately the details must be reported to the police. Although Damu Anna knew that the jewel was robbed by the servant, he had to stick on to the rules and lodged a police complaint. As a part of the procedure, the police came to his house for interrogation. Olden days, people would never feel comfortable to let any police enter the house for enquiry as they considered this as a shame. All that Damu Anna knew was to approach Sri Sai Baba and submit his prayers at his holy feet, be it a physical pain or a mental agony. Now as Sri Sainath has attained Mahasamadhi, he stood in front of the divine portrait of Sri Sai Baba and spoke to him heart to heart with tears in his eyes. As we all knew that Sri Sai Maharaj has assured him that I would be with you when and wherever you think of me. This is such a painful moment for Damu Anna, and he was earning the presence and guidance of Sri Sai Maharaj, so he went and stood before the picture of Sri Sai Baba. His mind was restless. He prayed fervently to Sri Sai to resolve this matter. Damu Anna surrendered the issue to Sri Sai Maharaj, and the very next day the servant came on his own, handed over the jewel box to the former and begged his pardon, saying that he was off his head that he did such a misdeed and felt ashamed for his action. This incident was narrated by Damu Anna to Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji as it endorses the assertions of Sri Sai Maharaj. Whenever anyone surrenders at the lotus feet of Sri Sai Maharaj, then it is certain that the grace of the Lord Sri Sai Baba will be bestowed upon them. Let us listen to other matters for which Damu Anna tried to derive Sri Sai Maharaj's blessings and how that was carried by Sri Sai Baba. We knew that the ardent and close devotees of Sri Sai Maharaj always heeded to the advice of Sri Sai Baba and adhered to it word to word, not only in matters relating to spirituality but also in temporal issues. They had unswerving faith on Sri Sai as they were cognizant that he was none other than the Supreme Lord. Hence, they had great regard for Sri Sai Baba's words and always obeyed it. The devotees knew that the instructions of Sri Sai were for their welfare and non-compliance of the same will lead to consequences. Similar situation was faced by Damu Anna. Once, Damu Anna had an appeal in the High Court and the lawyer had written to Damu Anna to go to Mumbai. As usual, he came to Shirdi, bowed before Sri Sai Baba and said that he needs to leave for Mumbai to attend to the court hearing and sought Sri Sai's blessings. Whereas Sri Sai Baba detained him and prevented him from going to the court. So he could not attend the court in person, but owing to his steadfast faith on Sri Sainath, the result of the appeal was in favor of Damu Anna. Thus, the moral of this Leela is have unswerving faith on Sri Sai and you are certain to accomplish your goal. The next Leela is about the discussion Damu Anna had with Sri Sai about speculating with a broker at Mumbai on a cotton business. Cotton and sugarcane plants grow in abundance in the region of Maharashtra. So, a broker dealing in cotton business wrote a letter suggesting Damu Anna to venture in cotton trading. Damu Anna was wealthy, so the broker was motivating him to invest in this business as that would yield a good amount of profit. Damu Anna had nearly 50 to 60,000 rupees as savings, which is indeed a huge amount on those days. And the broker suggested that if this amount would be invested in the business, then they can earn a profit twice the amount each year. Thus, he began to persuade Damu Anna by mentioning the probable profit that they would gain out of this business. This convinced Damu Anna and he thought his profits will double and he would very easily earn up to rupees 1 lakh in a short span of time without much effort. So he gained interest as the prospects of this business was very promising. Damu Anna began to dream of becoming richer with all these returns. Despite all these motivating factors, it is purely his good merit that he thought of discussing with Sri Sai Baba before venturing into this business. Also, he has been blessed to witness many of Sri Sai's Leelas and was of the belief that no decision on any matters must be taken without consulting Sri Sai Maharaj. In fact, Damu Anna has spoken out this to Pujya Sri Narasimha Swamiji thus: while Sri Sai Maharaj was in his mortal coil, I always consulted him before taking any decision and always adhered to his words. After his Mahasamadhi, I would place 2 chits in front of Sri Sai's portrait, one with the words permitted by Sri Sai and the other as declined by Sri Sai, and would place both at the holy feet, pick up one of the chits, and will stick on to the instructions given on the chit that I picked up. Whereas in the above case, the incident happened before Sri Sai Maharaj's Mahasamadhi. Damu Anna was at his residence in Ahmednagar, and it would take some time for him to reach Shirdi and discuss with Sri Sai Baba about the prospects of the business. Meantime, the broker was also pestering Damu Anna to decide upon this soon. So, owing to lack of time, he wrote a letter to Sri Sai Baba describing the situation and seeking Sri Sainath's permission, addressing to Shama. As soon as Shama received this letter, he took it to Sri Sai Baba and placed it at his feet. Few other devotees were present there at that moment. Omniscient Sri Sai spoke thus: "Oh Shama, looks like Damya wants to catch at the sky. His head is wrong. He is trying to think of lakhs. Write to him that his present position is not bad and ask him not to think of lakhs." Shama spoke thus: "Baba, nothing is veiled to you. You know everything, and you have replied already to the query made by Damu Anna in this letter, even before it was read to you. Then what is the need to make me read the letter? Why should I be unnecessarily troubled? And what is the necessity for you to pretend as though you do not know what was written on this letter, while you are aware of even every thought of ours?" Sri Sai Baba said in a very casual tone, "Shama, what do I know? I just say some random stuff, and who will believe that? It is better you read the letter out loud." Shama read the letter completely, and Sri Sai said, "Tell Damu Anna to be contented with what he has and not to be greedy for money." Shama wrote a detailed reply to Damu Anna, citing the response of Sri Sai Maharaj on his interest on speculating in cotton business. On the other hand, Damu Anna was eagerly waiting for the reply from Shama, as that will contain the verdict of Sri Sai Maharaj. The broker has been persuading Damu Anna that this is such a rare opportunity and should not be delayed further. Damu Anna was certain that Sri Sai will give his consent to invest in this business. At this juncture, he got the reply from Shirdi. He was in utter shock reading it. This was not expected by him. He was dreaming of becoming affluent by just financing in cotton speculation. Though he knew that Sadguru Sri Sai is none other than the Supreme God on earth, and his judgment would never go wrong, as he could foresee the past, present and future of a person. It's human tendency to only expect positive response and not otherwise. Damu Anna was very dejected reading the reply of Sri Sai Maharaj. His mind would have even contemplated that he shouldn't have consulted Sri Sai Baba in this matter. Damu Anna was not convinced. Just then he got a spark of thought. In the reply letter, Shama wrote a footnote that, "Damu Anna, it is always better to come in person and discuss on such matters with Sri Sai and get his opinion rather than communicating through letter, as that would make a big difference." These words were more encouraging, and he decided to go in person to Shirdi and seek Sri Sai's guidance in this matter. Consequently, he came to Shirdi, sat down at the feet of Sri Sai Baba and began massaging his feet. This is the preliminary service that every devotee would do upon reaching Dwarakamai. They were all so blessed that they could do this simplest and easiest service whenever they visited Shirdi. While massaging Sri Sai's feet, suddenly an idea clashed in his mind. He began to wonder, why not include Sri Sai Baba as a partner in this venture? If that would happen, then there will be no hurdle in starting this cotton business. What a crazy thought this could be. But listeners, don't get stunned. Such thoughts are prevailing even to this day. Some devotees even make Tirupati Venkatachalapati, one of the divine incarnations of Lord Vishnu, as their partner. Some big businessmen, when they invest in a business, would have the Lord's name written in their company deed as one of the proprietors of the business. The business will be registered under the name of Lord Vishnu. Of course, the money will be invested by the businessman on the name of the Lord, and the businessman would be the shareholder of this business dealing. Ultimately, at the end of the year, when they earn a good profit, they will deposit the dividend from the shares in the Dakshina box at Tirupati. This is because the devotees are of the notion that if they have Lord as the proprietor of their business, then they would never face loss. Instead, the profit would be in multitude. And as Goddess Mahalakshmi being the consort of Lord Vishnu, there is no way that a person partnering with Lord Vishnu would be doomed in their business. Instead, will flourish well will be their perception. Similar thought aroused in the mind of Damu Anna, and he desired to have Sri Sai Maharaj as his business partner, earn good profit, and give a good share to Sri Sai Baba. This was just his mind's thought. But listeners, Sri Sai is a renunciant, a great saint. He has no desires. Lord Kubera serves at his doorsteps and waits for a wink of his eye to shower all the wealth at his holy feet. All the opulence is under his control. Still, this great incarnation of the Supreme Lord begged for his food in the streets of Shirdi, says Hemat Panji. The one who can make a pauper into a king, will that Supreme Being get into partnership with Damu Anna to get a share of profit? Isn't this ridiculous? The moment such a thought flashed in the mind of Damu Anna, immediately Sri Sai Maharaj spoke thus: Damya, I am not in anything. Devotees, this is one of the attributes of a self-realized soul. The moment a situation tries to pull them to temporal affairs, instantaneously they would get dejected and disappointed. As soon as Sri Sai Baba uttered these words, Damu Anna realized that the omniscient Sai has read his thoughts and responded accordingly. Now, Damu Anna lost interest in the cotton speculation business and he withdrew his decision of investing in this. After returning to his hometown, he revealed his decision to the broker. The broker was obviously upset as he lost his opportunity of doing business with Damu Anna, hence spoke few words of wisdom thus: You could have made your own decision about investing in this business. Rather, you went to take the permission of a saint, and now it's so unfortunate that you have missed the chance of becoming wealthier. Let the one who is lucky grab this opportune moment and multiply his profits. The words of the broker disheartened Damu Anna. Lo, after few days, there was a heavy loss for all the investors of the cotton business, and the broker was also one of the victims of this. Whereas Damu Anna escaped from the heavy loss by not investing in the business as advised by Sri Sai Baba. Damu Anna heeded to the words of Sadguru Sai Maharaj, hence he was saved, and the broker realized his folly of commenting upon the decision of Sri Sai and repented for not withdrawing himself from this business as Damu Anna did. This divine sport of Sri Sai demonstrates his protection upon his devotees by saving them from suffering heavy losses. This is not the only situation where Damu Anna was saved, but there is another incredible experience that Sri Sai has bestowed upon him. This reminds me of Sri Pundi Swamiji's divine sport in protecting his devotee from facing heavy loss in his business dealings. Those enthralling leelas can be heeded in the coming episode. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.